Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Home Media Reviews. It's our very special multiple movie episode for season 6 of this show. I am currently recording this video, not in my normal location, and I'm using new equipment. I recently picked up a Elgato Wave Neo microphone from Target, actually. They've been putting a lot of their audio visual stuff on clearance. I don't know why, I guess to make room for new stuff for the fall. But I got this microphone for $26. How could I say no to that? And it's incredibly small. It's travel sized. My Blue Yeti mic is really good. I really enjoy it, but that thing is a beast. To lug that thing around everywhere is really annoying. So with this guy, it's perfect. Let me know down in the comments how this microphone sounds. As far as I can see on my software, the levels look totally fine. So I don't think it's going to sound much different. But hey, for $26, I'm not going to say no to that. But enough about my equipment that I'm using to record this video with. Let's talk about what we're actually covering here. We're talking about The Emperor's New Groove and Kronk's New Groove. Let's not waste any more time. Let's jump right into the history section. So as we normally do for these multiple movie episodes here on Home Media Reviews, I'll start with the first movie and the franchise. I'll give you its theatrical release as well as its singular home video release. Then we'll move along to the second movie, its singular home video release, and then we'll talk about these movies as they were packaged together. So The Emperor's New Groove hit theaters on December 15th, 2000. On a budget of $100 million, this movie grossed $169.7 million. Not exactly a smash hit at the box office, especially due to the fact that this movie was plagued with production problems. I highly recommend going and watching the channel It Was a Shit Show. They make fantastic content about movies and TV shows that were just plagued with production problems, and the episode on The Emperor's New Groove is one of their best. I won't tell you about the myriad of production problems that the movie had. If you want to know about those, I highly recommend checking out that channel. But I will mention that this movie was originally completely different than what we got. It was not going to be comedic focused. It was going to be very serious. It was going to be this grand epic tale about how they had to save the sun or something, and the main character's name was Manco, not Cusco. I did not see Emperor's New Groove in theaters. I was 1 when this movie hit theaters, so I obviously had no interest in movies at that point. I was interested in other things, like sticking my fingers in my nose. I had heard about The Emperor's New Groove for years. I never actually sat down and watched it, though, until I met Hope. This is one of her favorite movies from the Walt Disney Company, and she and I sat down and watched this probably within our first year or so of dating. And I highly enjoyed it. This movie's comedic style I really gelled with. Emperor's New Groove then hit VHS and DVD on May 1st, 2001. A 2-disc version and a single disc version of the DVD was released, as was common with Disney back then. Poster art was changed between these two releases. The VHS, though, was just the VHS. It didn't really have anything exclusive about it. It was just, hey, The Emperor's New Groove on VHS. Very bare bones release. Moving along to Kronk's New Groove. This movie was released on December 13th, 2005. Direct to video. This was not a theatrical movie. This was the era of the direct to video sequels that Disney was putting out, which brought us such classics like Lion King 2, Little Mermaid 2, Lilo and Stitch 2, Cinderella 2 and 3. All classics that we are all so familiar with and are not instantly forgettable. 5 years, though, after the original movie release. That's kind of insane that they actually went back and made a sequel to this movie that was kind of the black sheep of the Walt Disney Corporation for a while there. Some people would say the Black Cauldron is more the black sheep of the Walt Disney animated film library, considering the fact that they hardly ever acknowledge that it exists. But The Emperor's New Groove brought the end to the Renaissance period. So I'm surprised that they were like, hey, this movie that kind of killed our animation studio for a little bit there, why don't we make a sequel to that? There was both a VHS and a DVD of Kronk's New Groove that came out on December 13th, 2005. No special 2-disc release of that DVD, just a single disc release, and then just a regular VHS tape. Not a lot of fanfare for our dear friend Kronk. June 11th, 2013 is the first time that these movies are packaged together. We have a 2-movie Blu-ray collection that came out on that day. And not only was this a Blu-ray set, but it was also a combo pack. So you got both a Blu-ray and a DVD in this set. The DVDs were separated onto 2 discs, but the movies on Blu-ray were on 1 disc. I guess that makes sense, considering the fact that these movies are relatively short. I would have preferred 2 discs for Blu-ray, just for picture quality standards, but when we talk about these movies later, I didn't notice a lot of difference with the picture quality. These movies look great on Blu-ray. Fun fact for you, this set sold over 14,000 units on its first weekend on the market, grossing $282,000 for Disney. Which again is crazy to me because I think of the Emperor's New Groove being very underrated. You don't hear a lot of people talk about this movie anymore, and that's because it killed the Renaissance period for Disney. We then got a repack of the 2-movie collection on June 14th, 2022, almost 10 years after the original hit the market. We now have new poster art with Cusco on the front there, and it's now branded the multi-screen edition. This stupid marketing gimmick that Disney keeps pushing, the whole multi-screen edition thing. It clogs up the poster, Disney. Get rid of it. People know what a combo pack is. You don't need to lecture them about how, oh, you can watch your movie here, but you can also watch your movie on your tablet. It is nice, though, to see that these movies are getting the love that they deserve, that they actually took time out of their vast schedules to put out a new Blu-ray release of these. Was anything changed? More than likely not, but at least these movies were put back out on store shelves for a while. Our final release of both of these movies comes to us on November 14th, 2023 with the Disney Legacy Animated Film Collection Blu-ray set. This thing is huge. This is that huge Blu-ray set that came with like the diamond Mickey ears and a whole bunch of other physical stuff. It costs like close to $1,000, I think, was the MSRP when it first came out. And it included all of the Disney and Pixar animated films up until Elemental, which includes The Emperor's New Groove. Not Kronk's New Groove, though. None of the direct-to-video sequels are included in this set. I know I said we're only talking about sets where these movies were packaged together, but this set was too cool not to talk about, and it's really the last time that you could pick up The Emperor's New Groove on physical media. Poor Kronk, though. He gets the short end of the stick here, but as we'll talk about later on, he kind of deserves it. So that wraps up your history section. Let's move right along to the close-up. Alrighty, everyone. Here's your close-up look at The Emperor's New Groove and Kronk's New Groove. We have the 2013 Blu-ray/DVD combo pack here to look at. Starting off here at the top, Blu-ray disc logo, 3-disc special edition, includes Blu-ray plus DVD, and then you've got your 2 films here, The Emperor's New Groove with all your main characters, and then Kronk's New Groove down there at the bottom. These are both essentially squished up versions of each movie's poster art, except this one from The Emperor's New Groove is from a later release of the movie. Kronk's New Groove's poster is basically the poster it got when it first came out on DVD. But cool that they actually used original poster assets and such. 2-movie collection down there. I should also mention that when this first came out, it came with a slipcover. I don't have that slipcover. We bought this used. The spine, Disney Blu-ray 2-movie collection. You have both of your movies listed there. And then there's old Cusco, taken from the front of Kronk's New Groove. The back features a blurb about both of these movies. And then there's your barcode up there at the top. We've got little scenes and such from each of the films, except these are from The Emperor's New Groove, and then Kronk's New Groove just gets a little tagline down there at the bottom. Every other piece of art is from The Emperor's New Groove. Down there at the bottom we have tech specs, cast and crew information, all that good stuff. Open her up. Take a look at your Blu-ray first. Your films are packaged on one Blu-ray disc. I find that mildly annoying. I would have preferred 2 Blu-ray discs, but considering these movies are somewhat short, I understand why they shoved them both onto one Blu-ray. Your DVDs, however, you get 2 of them. Now you're telling me that they can't fit both of these movies onto one dual-layer DVD? I'm not buying that. We should also pour one out for Disney Movie Insiders, formerly known as Disney Movie Rewards. If you bought this 2-pack brand new, it came with points that you could redeem on that service, and you could get cool merchandise. Disney Movie Insiders has announced that they are closing their doors, and they are in the process of shutting down. They will be completely kaput by the end of this year. In fact, they're no longer accepting codes. You can't even earn any new points now. It's just completely... You can spend what points that you have, and then that's it. So why don't we all take a moment of silence for Disney Movie Rewards, also known as Disney Movie Insiders. You will be missed. So that wraps up your close-up. Let's move right along to the menu tour. Alrighty, everyone. Here's your menu tour for The Emperor's New Groove and Kronk's New Groove. Starting with The Emperor's New Groove, the DVD, of course. We have our options here on screen. We have Start the Flick, Extra Gravity bonus features, Hip Scenes, Sneak Peeks, and Tweak It. I don't know what Tweak It means, but I'm interested to see what the bonus features are on here. Extra Gravy. Okay, that's funny. It's like we're in the restaurant right here. We have Deleted Scenes, Music and More, Games and Activities, The Emperor's Got Game action-filled adventure game, okay, and then we have Backstage Disney, which I don't know what that featurette is. That one I'm interested in hearing about. Let's take a look at that one. Okay, so I guess it's not a featurette, it's a group of featurettes about the movie itself. We have behind the scenes portion, the research trip, the character voices, and then creating computer-generated images. And then we also have an audio commentary here for the movie. With all of these people. It's a lot of people on the commentary. So for DVD, there's quite a few bonus features here. I like that. Let's take a look at the Hip Scenes menu. So your scenes are broken down into groups of 4. You've got numbers, names for each of these scenes, and screenshots from each of them. And as far as the scenes go, we have 28 of them, 27 if you don't count the credits. For a movie that runs not even 90 minutes long, 27 scenes is pretty impressive. So your sneak peeks actually has a menu as opposed to just playing all the trailers from the beginning. We have sneak peeks for Lady and the Tramp, The Wild and the Shaggy Dog, Tarzan, and Kronk's New Groove. I think it's funny how The Wild and the Shaggy Dog trailers are looped together, and it looks like somebody forgot that, like, oh no, there's supposed to be 5 trailers in this menu. Why don't we just put these together and just throw them in the same option? Oh, but there's a more section down here at the bottom. Hang on a minute. Okay, we have trailers for Toy Story 2 and Valiant. I don't know what Valiant is. And now we finally take a look at Tweak It. Oh, I thought this was going to be like a fun little game menu. No, this is just tweaking your experience with the movie. You've got Kronk and Yzma playing patty cake apparently there. So for audio options, you have a English Dolby Digital 5.1 mix, and then just a regular English 5.1 mix. A French 5.1 mix as well. Your captions are just English. I do like this menu, though, of Kronk and the angel and the devil on a shoulder. And then we can register your DVD. Let's take a look at this. By registering your Disney DVD, you become eligible for the disc replacement program, DVD technical support, notification of special offers, and updates on other titles. Why would you need technical support for a DVD? It's not hard to perform tech support on a DVD. As someone who works in the IT field, DVDs are pretty simplistic when it comes to some of the other computers that I've dealt with in my career. Alright, moving along to Kronk's New Groove. Your menu is completely different from the Emperor's New Groove. You got your options here on the menu pad. You have play, also fast play. If you guys grew up in like the early 2000s, you know fast play. I know fast play by heart. Scene selection, bonus features, setup, and sneak peeks. Take a look at scene selection. Ooh, I have a PS4 update. Yippee. Why am I still getting updates for the PS4? This console came out like 10 years ago. Why is Sony still giving updates for it? Anyway, here's your scene selection. Very similar to the Emperor's New Groove, broken down into groups of 4. And you have 20 scenes, 19 if you don't count the credits. This movie runs shorter than the first one. It's about an hour and 20 minutes, counting credits. So 20 scenes, that's plenty for this movie. You've got 2 options here on the main bonus features menu. You have games and activities, and then how to cook a movie with Backstage Disney. As far as your games go, you have Kronk's Brain Game and Pyramid Scheme. I assume Pyramid Scheme is not teaching you how to actually do a pyramid scheme. That would be illegal. For setup and for your audio options, we have a Dolby Digital 5.1 surround sound mix, a standard 5.1 surround sound mix, French 5.1 surround sound mix, and Spanish 5.1 surround sound mix. And your captions are just English. Oh, we can also register our DVD from this menu as well. Let's see if Sneak Peeks is actually going to have a menu or if it's just going to play the trailers from the beginning of this disc. Let's find out. Hey, it's actually got a menu. Okay, so some of our trailers have changed. We have a trailer for Lady and the Tramp, which we had last time. The Wild and the Shaggy Dog trailer is back, but now we have a trailer for Leroy and Stitch, the finale to the Lilo and Stitch television series, and Bambi 2. Another classic sequel that we all know and don't loathe. But hey, we've got even more trailers here. The Valiant trailer is back, but we also have a trailer for The Fox and the Hound 2, another wonderful sequel that we all love from the Walt Disney Corporation. We've also got Pooh's Grand Adventure, The Search for Christopher Robin, and a trailer for The Emperor's New School, which is the TV spin-off of these movies. Okay, and now we move along to the Blu-ray of Emperor and Kronk's New Groove. So starting off, we have this little mini menu here where you get to choose the movie that you want to check out. Choose the Emperor's New Groove or Kronk's New Groove. Of course, we're going to start with the Emperor's. Standard menu, it's basically a reshuffling of the poster art. We have play, scene selection, setup, and sneak peeks. No bonus content. Your scene selection is as follows. I do believe these are the same scenes as on the DVD. Again, grouped up into 4s here. Yeah, same number of scenes as on the DVD. For setup, we have a 5.1 master audio mix for English, an English 2.0 mix, a French 5.1 mix, a Spanish 5.1 mix, and then whatever the hell that language is, I don't know, but it's a 5.1 mix. And for subtitles, we have English for the hearing impaired, just standard English, French, Spanish, and whatever that language is. I'm glad we have more subtitle options than we did on the DVD. Oh, and the bane of my existence has returned. We have the dreaded sneak peeks menu that doesn't exist. It's just trailers. This is a trailer for Disney Movie Rewards. Man, I miss that service. Another dead thing. Disney Infinity. We have a trailer for that. Another dead thing. Radio Disney. This is a graveyard of trailers. Oh, this isn't a dead thing. This is a trailer for the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Another movie which we have covered here on Home Media reviews, and one of my personal favorites from the Walt Disney animated lineup. Oh hey, it's a trailer for The Little Mermaid on Blu-ray, which I believe was coming to Blu-ray the year that this came out. Oh, this is the teaser trailer for Monsters University. What the hell trailer is this? Is this one of those Buddies movies? Super Buddies, okay, yeah. Oh, this is this Marvel's Iron Man and Hulk movie that, like, Animated Heroes United? Yeah, that's what this is. I never saw that. Was that any good? So you may not get bonus content here, but you do get a crap ton of trailers. Okay, here's Kronk's new groove. A different picture for the menu rather than just reshuffling the poster art, although it is noticeably cheaper looking. For scene selection, I believe these are the same scenes as on the DVD. That would make sense, except they're grouped in threes now. Yippee, that's fun. Yep, 20 scenes, 19 if you don't count the credits, of course. For languages, we have a 5.1 Master Audio Mix, English 2.0, French 5.1, Spanish 5.1, and that language 5.1. And then pretty much the same for subtitles, English for the hearing impaired, English, French, Spanish, that language. Let's watch some more trailers for the sneak peeks, huh? I have a sneaking suspicion they're going to be the same trailers as on The Emperor's New Groove. Hey, look at that! It's the same Disney Infinity trailer. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call it here. These are the same trailers as on The Emperor's New Groove. So that's a bit disappointing. You don't get any of the bonus content from the DVDs transferred over to the Blu-rays. You just get better picture quality and audio quality and all that stuff. And a crap ton of trailers as opposed to the DVDs. Except both movies have the same trailers. So, like, why would you even put a trailer option on Kronk if you already have the trailers on The Emperor's New Groove? You put these things on here twice. I don't get it. But that wraps up your menu tour. Let's go ahead and head on back and answer the 5 main questions, as always. Alright, so we're back from the close-up. Now it's time to answer the 5 main questions, as always. Number 1, where can you pick this product up? Online retailers? You can't really find this in stores anymore, unfortunately, because of the fact that it hasn't been on store shelves in, like, 2 years. So yeah, Amazon, eBay. I see a lot of copies of the 2013 2-pack in half-price books a lot. So if you want to look there. Number 2, is this product still being printed nowadays? Can I get a no? No. Number 3, should you pick this product up? All right, we're going to start off with Emperor's New Groove here. It was the first one. The animation is still impressive for being over 20 years old. The opening montage of Kuzco's life is insanely fun and immediately sucks you in with all its colors and fluid movements. And David Spade is great as Kuzco. He does arrogant and cocky so well. Despite him being insanely selfish, I love listening to him talk about how great his life is and how everyone around him is at his command. His comment about Yzma always gets me. Having proof that dinosaurs once roamed the earth. Oh, I threw off the Emperor's groove, and he had me thrown out of the tower. Don't throw off the Emperor's groove. Beware the groove. I just thought that line was funny from that old guy. I don't remember what his name is, but I think he's played by Jim Cummings. At least that's what he sounds like. He sounds like old Pooh Bear. Yzma, our main villain, played by Eartha Kitt, is a fantastic villain and a great vocal performance. Her voice is so perfectly suited for this character. Just so full of herself and oozes evil. Yzma's character design is wonderfully over the top as well, and I love it. It is no concern of mine whether your family has, what was it again? Food? Ha! You really should have thought of that before you became peasants. Her henchman, Kronk, played by Patrick Warburton, is perfectly cast as well. Wonderful side character, funny without taking away focus from the main story, and infinitely quotable. Oh yeah, the poison. The poison for Kuzco. The poison that you made specifically to kill Kuzco. Kuzco's poison. Pull the lever, Kronk. Wrong lever! Why do we even have that lever? I love the emphasis on comedy in this movie. I already mentioned earlier how in the original cut, this movie was going to be insanely serious. But here, there's a lot more focus on just funny gags throughout the movie, and a lot of them are really funny. They work. For the first Disney animated movie focused specifically on just animated gags and being funny, they pull it off with flying colors. Every line has something funny said, whether it's how a character says it or how unserious everything feels. This movie's a riot. Only in this kind of movie does the line, "What? A llama? He's supposed to be dead!" makes complete sense. Llama, perhaps a metaphor for change? This movie has a pretty basic lesson with a lot of random stuff thrown in just to make it more funny. We meet John Goodman's character, Pacha, early on, and that's where the meme of him with the OK sign comes from. But now that we've made it past the initial setup and Kuzco is now a llama, now we actually get to know John Goodman's Pacha a little bit more. It's really fun to see Pacha and Kuzco become closer as the movie goes on, and it also helps that these two have great comedic chemistry. The scene in the restaurant is the best scene in the entire movie. Pacha and Kuzco are there. Kuzco's dressed up to be like Pacha's girlfriend, I guess, because they're both hungry. Kronk and Yzma show up there, and just hijinks after hijinks ensue. It's the best scene in the movie. It has the best comedic timing. Jokes are flying at you at any point in time. The moment that got me the first time was seeing Yzma in the birthday sombrero and everyone singing, "Happy, happy birthday!" And she's just sitting there with a scowl on her face. "Kronk, what are you doing?" "Hang on out there, Yzma, I got an order up." It just, the whole movie feels so unserious, like it doesn't take itself seriously at all, and I really love that. Even though this movie has some pretty serious stakes, like the emperor of this empire is dead, and Yzma's taken it over. So like, pretty high stakes there, but nobody takes this seriously. It's even funnier when the movie acknowledges that it's impossible that Kronk and Yzma make it back to the palace before Kuzco and Pacha. Oh, well, you got me. By all accounts, it doesn't make sense. When your movie is bonkers and acknowledges it, you can get away with small little inconsistencies like that. Climax of this movie is great, with Kuzco changing into various animals, Yzma getting turned into a cat, Kuzco's character arc finally being completed by saving Pacha and not saving himself. It's really fun. "I'm not going to drop it, you fool. I'm going to drink it." I can't raise my voice that high, but endlessly funny. Emperor's New Groove is endlessly funny, with great lines and a lot of fun to be had. It's a non-serious story that has some nice payoffs by the end, and quotable line after quotable line. This movie may have ended the Disney Renaissance, but it did go out on a very high note, despite what people and critics said at the time of its release. High recommend for Emperor's New Groove. Okay, from a high, we now move on to kind of a low. I'm maybe showing my hand a little bit too much there. Kronk's New Groove. This is the first time I'm seeing Kronk's New Groove. I have never seen the movie prior to watching it for this episode. The movie starts with a very similar setup to the first, with Kronk being the narrator, and now a very similar song to the first one. We're in for one of those sequels, apparently, where pretty much everything is the same as the first movie, but there's one small element that's been changed. Not a great omen. Those sequels never really turn out to be the best things ever. The animation is noticeably cheaper here. It's more choppy and nowhere near as smooth as the original. Colors were still vibrant, and the movie pops on Blu-ray, just like the first film, so not too big of a distraction. It just, there is some quality loss here between the two films, which makes sense because this is a direct-to-video sequel. It's not going to get the money and the time devoted to making it look as good as that first movie did. Kronk has daddy issues. Not where I thought the sequel was going, but it is different from the first one. I'm glad we're giving Kronk some more depth, as opposed to him just being the stupid sidekick that's given the lead role. Mater from Cars 2, anyone? Yes, Kronk is still dumb, but he is a lovable kind of dumb, and Patrick Warburton's just great. It's hard for me to criticize his vocal performance here because it's really good. I love him in this role. Not only is Patrick Warburton back, but so is the rest of the cast from the first movie. John Goodman, Eartha Kitt, David Spade, even the girl who played Pacha's wife in the first movie is back, who was Beautiful Gorgeous in Jimmy Neutron. Fun fact for you there. How did they get everyone to come back for the sequel? Was it part of the contract? Don't get me wrong, I loved Yzma in the first movie. And Eartha Kitt gives a pretty good performance here. Not as good as the first one, but it could be the fact that there wasn't a lot for Yzma to do in this movie, so Eartha Kitt maybe didn't put a lot of effort into making this performance better than the first movie. I'm not really sure. We know what purpose Yzma serves here, but why did we need her to come back? There's no explanation as to why she's no longer a cat. It's just she has cat tendencies now and a tail for some reason. She sells slime to old people to make them young and then gets rich and is apparently going to run for the emperor position. I didn't know that was an elected thing, like what Kronk said in the movie. It just makes me think like the writers of Kronk's New Groove said, hey, they'll remember this from the first movie. Let's make them remember the first movie. Hey, remember the first movie? Laugh at this because it's like the first one. The small world that turns into a roller coaster bit did make me laugh, though. I really enjoyed that. The old guy that gets thrown out of the window in the first movie comes back here. He and Kronk are friends, apparently. They're old pals from years ago. I guess that makes sense if the old guy hung around in the palace a lot when Kronk was employed there. But he is way too forgiving of Kronk after turning him into a Gollum rep-off. The dude literally sold his clothes to get his hands on this slime thing that's nothing more than a placebo thing. In that moment when Kronk realizes that he's screwed over all these old people, these people who were supposedly his friends, it's supposed to be a super emotional moment with the fact that the movie slows down and the music kicks in, but I felt nothing there. And that's because that's the first moment in this movie where it slows down and says, hey, feel something. But I don't, because I haven't felt anything for Kronk up until this point, and it comes virtually out of nowhere. Yzma then turns herself into another animal. She gets turned into a rabbit, I think, like a bunny or something, and then she gets snatched by a bird. She's not dead, though. We see her at the end. She ends up in a nest where she is presumably killed. We transition from that to the second vignette-style story here, where Kronk is now the leader of a wilderness scouts troop and meets his future girlfriend. The whole plot of this movie is told in vignette style. Kronk is in the restaurant from the first movie that he is now the head cook of, because apparently Kronk always had a passion for cooking. I always thought that was just a dumb side gag in the first movie, but no, Kronk is apparently very passionate about cooking. He's telling his whole backstory to the head person, I guess the girl that runs it from the first movie as well. The vignette-style story starts when he's talking to Yzma, and then it moves on to the Wilderness Scouts thing. I don't know. I don't like how the story is structured. I did like Kronk's girlfriend, Mrs. Birdwell. Not quite sure where her accent is from. Sounded vaguely Australian with like a hint of British in there. You can tell, though, that Kronk really cares about her, the way he talks and everything. They just instantly fall for each other. That was fun. I like their relationship and how that develops. The montage of them hanging out was cute, and it was nice to see him form a connection with someone. We have to then be reminded, though, that Kuzco is still a thing, because Kuzco has been interrupting this movie throughout the entire thing. I get it. You got David Spade back. Yippee. You could have just had him appear in the first part of the movie where he explains how this is Kronk's movie, not his movie. So stop acting like it's your movie. Or rather, writers, stop putting Kuzco in here like it's his movie. He had his movie. His time is done. Let's focus on Kronk instead. But no, we have to continuously remind you of what was funny last time. Through a classic misunderstanding, Kronk then loses his girlfriend, and then his dad finally shows up for another vignette-style story where everyone is pretending to be Kronk's wife and kids with a lot of funny disguises. There are some funny lines here, but just the whole scenario seems implausible to me. His conflict with his dad is resolved way too quick that I didn't buy that for a second. And I was just left feeling cold. I did like how he and Birdwell got back together at the end, but the main focus of this story was supposed to be Kronk and his daddy problems. And it just seems like they weren't, well, they were fixed, quote unquote, but not in a satisfactory way. Kronk's New Groove is the worst kind of sequel. Yes, it does feel like it takes place in the same universe as the first movie. A lot of bad sequels ignore their first movie and act like nothing there ever happened. Here, though, it takes too much from the first movie and tries to be exactly like that first movie, when in a sequel, you should try to be different. There's a fine line that you have to ride there of, hey, let's remind them of stuff that happened last movie, but also let's do new things. And this movie just relies too heavily on, hey, let's make them think of stuff that happened in the last movie. Yay. I was not a fan of this movie at all. I really don't like Kronk's New Groove at all. I wanted to like it because Emperor's New Groove is great. And I like that this universe got a sequel to it, but I have to say no. No, I don't recommend Kronk's New Groove. This movie is not good. So that begs the question, would I recommend these movies together? Would I recommend you pick up a 2-pack of them? As much as I don't like Kronk's New Groove, The Emperor's New Groove is so good. And the only way that you can pick up this movie on Blu-ray is in a 2-pack. Yeah, you should pick up the 2-pack version of these, because not only are you getting a really good first movie with great color transfers on the Blu-ray and everything, you can check out Kronk's New Groove for yourself and form your own opinion on it. So yes, I do recommend that you pick up the multi-pack of these movies, primarily for Emperor's New Groove, because this is the only way you can find this movie on Blu-ray. Number 4, where should you pick this product up? Well, same answers as number 1. And number 5, what price should you pay? The 2-pack is really not that expensive. The price that we found our copy at was $12 maybe 13, 14 bucks. I would go as high as 15 for it, just because I've seen this VHS at flea markets go for $3, $4. That's probably the most I'd pay for it. DVDs are a dime a dozen. I wouldn't really pay more than $5 for one. Well, that wraps up your home media review for Emperor's New Groove and Kronk's New Groove. Hey, a 50%. Not terrible. Still a failing grade, but not bad. I don't hate Kronk's New Groove. I just was really let down by it. I wanted it to be more, and it just wasn't. I know there's a TV show based off The Emperor's New Groove, The Emperor's New School. It's on Disney Plus right now. I saw ads for it when I was younger. I never watched it, though. I still have never seen it. I don't know if it's good or not. I know all of the characters appear in that show as well. I don't know if they're voiced by the same actors here. I doubt David Spade voiced Kuzco for however many seasons that show went on. But maybe I'll give that a shot. Maybe that'll be better than Kronk's New Groove. So next week, we are shifting gears, not from animation to live action, from animation to anime. Hope has become a big fan of anime in the last few years, and one of her absolute favorites is My Neighbor Totoro. And we're going to be talking about that next week. You guys know my feelings on anime. I'm not a big fan of it. I have seen My Neighbor Totoro. This will be my second time ever seeing it. Will I enjoy it? Will I recommend it? You'll have to find out next week. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I will see you all then. Good night, everybody.